The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in ReadersMagnet's featured author interview. My name is Leah, and I'm your interviewer for today. And with me is one of the ReadersMagnet's featured author. And today she will be sharing to us what this book is all about, her as an author, and of course, what's the story behind her creating this book. So, yes, everyone, let's all welcome our one and only Dr. Myrna Etheridge, author of the book Widower's Helper. What do we do after our blood covenant partner is gone? Yes, hello, Dr. Myrna. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
Very well, Leah. Good to see you too. It's a
Wow, thank
wonderful
you
time to
so
be
much.
sharing with our viewers.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Myrna. Yes, and this is the moment we've been waiting for because, of course, it's now time to know more information about your book, your journey behind it. But before we do that, Dr. Myrna, of course, we would like to know who Dr. Myrna Etheridge is. So, yes, a little bit of, self introduction. Yes, please.
I, I have to say that I was born at an early age. I was 9 months old, and I lived as a farmer's daughter. I learned to drive a tractor by the time I was 10. I didn't think I would ever write a book. I was a dyslexic child. I did not read until I was in the third grade. And when I started to write this book after my husband, Grady Etheridge, a minister of 69 years, he had a wonderful legacy. But at the same time, he was my blood covenant partner. And there's a sense of loss with that you don't get in the sense of a loss with a friend. The books that I've been privileged to write are all different. They mainly answered questions that I had. Like, my question was, I don't know what to do with this. I've never been this way before. When my mate died, I didn't know what to do. And that's largely the reason for writing this is I really didn't know what to do. I was just lost and felt like I had a big hole in me. And after being married for 30 years, you become a whole lot like your partner. So it takes a bit of doing
Hmm.
to get through the time. Like, well, I'll talk about it later, but it was like I didn't know when I was going to cry, and I could be talking away like I am right now, and I would think of a memory, and my tears would just start coming out, and that happens to a lot of people, but they don't know that. And this book, Widower's Helper, talks about how you really feel, what you have to face, and some suggestions for facing the problems that you don't have any clue about because you've never gone that way before. So
Hmm.
I'm just a simple person. And at this point, I've lived about 2 or 3 lifetimes, and I've enjoyed all my lifetimes. But at the same time, there's always wonderful things to learn. And this was a learning experience for me. So I'm sharing my learning with the people who've gone through this hurt and don't have a way to be able to cope. So my reason for writing is pretty simple, actually. I just wanted to help other
Hmm.
people avoid the hurt that I felt.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that information to us, Dr. Mirna. And at the same time, you mentioned earlier that this is your own experience, right? Now, what in your life led you to write about being a widow or losing a partner? Can you tell us how did it started?
Well, when you're getting ready for death to come to your house, there are a lot of information things that say what to do, but I didn't know what
Mm-hmm.
to do. And the loss, the sense of loss with your mate being out of the home, your whole life changes. And in looking at all of that, I just had to say, I've never been this way before, and I don't know I didn't know I'd feel like this. I really didn't. And that ended up being the first chapter in Widower's Helper. I didn't know I'd feel like this. And the people that have gone through this don't know they were going to feel like they feel. And there's not really much out there to help you. There's a whole lot out there to help you know what to do when your mate has 3 fingers left on their arm, or you touch them when they're getting real close to being gone. You don't know how to handle all those things. So in the passing of time, you kind of get used to it, but
Mm-hmm.
still, I had a person say to me, and that's not very long ago, read the book on Widower's Helper, said, I'm still missing 2 or 3 of those things that I've never done. And that was, taking into consideration what your life is like now without your marriage partner. And it just, I am a widow, so I had that experience, and I wanted to write about it because I felt like there was
Oh.
good help for other people. And
Mm-hmm.
I determined to make a written record. Later, we'll talk about paper. I determined to make it so that there would be a guide for other people.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, you know what, Dr. Mina, I must say that your heartfelt story really resonates deeply, as it really reflects the, the journey of a grief, resilience that many widow and widowers face right now, the
Yes,
personal experience of, let's say, overcoming and turning your pain into a guiding resource or a guidance, for others, that really what demonstrates the incredible strength and compassion. Your book really provides not only practical advice, but also, I must say that it's a compassionate understanding that many seek, their their darkest times, the pain, reminding us all that healing and new beginnings can really emerge from profound
absolutely.
loss. But this is actually, a good, it is really offering hope and support for healing and rebuilding a new life, and that is very wonderful. I mean, there must be some emotional triggers, emotional struggles that you're facing while you creating this book, but right now it's already, creating another, again, just like what I mentioned earlier, it's already rebuilding a life, a new life to face the pain, acknowledging struggles. Your book really provides a hope and support for everyone who's also facing the same situation.
I
And I am so proud of you for creating this, Dr. Mirna.
thank you. Thank you.
Now, also,
When I think,
Dr. Mirna, you mentioned earlier that, isn't this? Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm waiting for you. I just agreed too much, so thinking you wanted me, or I wanted to talk. I don't. Go ahead and
Uh
state your
huh.
question.
Yes. Now, also, Dr. Mirna, isn't this kind of loss common and already widely written about? Now, I must say that, because again, it's based on your own experience, right? Now, why did you feel the need to write about it?
I felt the need to write about it because every couple that every husband and wife that actually married and committed their lives to each other and
Mm-hmm.
consummated their life with sexual intercourse have a blood covenant. That's that's a lot of the people of the world. And when they have a
Right.
blood covenant, it's not like losing a friend. That blood covenant partner, it's like part of them lived on the inside of you. The Bible speaks of it as being one flesh, and it truly is. So the person that's lost a covenant partner has this gaping hole on the inside that only God's love can fill up, because it's not a natural loss. You don't want to lose your covenant partner. So
Mm-hmm.
it affects you mentally, it affects you emotionally, it affects you physically,
Mm-hmm.
and it affects you spiritually. So your whole life is put
Mm-hmm.
into a trauma of a sort. I the,
Mm-hmm.
the difference in people means it's a different level for different people. But I had a good marriage with my husband, and we really loved each other. And if he had been left
Wow.
without me, he would have had the same kind of struggles as I did. And I know that in the story of people's lives, it's like my friend that read the book not long ago and said, he said, I still have two or three of those things I haven't done yet. Because if you don't do them, then your body can't go back to a normal for you because you don't know who you are. You are a totally different person. You're no longer a mate. You are an individual, a single individual. And you've got a whole new life, different life to live than you had before. And this book helps you do it. I thought back to me watching Little Women, the movie. Well, when
Mhm.
Jo gets real sick and she's going to die, and that always made me cry. Well, he'd be sitting there watching me while I'm getting ready to cry with Jo. And you know what he'd do? He'd take a Kleenex and hand me the Kleenex. So being a
Mhm.
widow is like watching a movie that makes you cry with no one to hand you the Kleenex.
Well, you know what, Dr. Mina, your heartfelt reflection really highlights that while the experience of widowhood and its associated questions are common, the emotional journey is deeply personal and often overwhelming, which is why sharing stories, like yours, is really valuable. Many people right now seek practical guidance, alongside with the emotional support. And I must say that your book really offers a compassionate, accessible resource that addresses both the practicalities of managing life
Yes,
after loss, and at the same time the healing journey or the healing process. Your willingness to
yes,
turn that personal pain that you've felt from the past into turning it into a source of hope, and it is now helping or provides reassurance to others as well, navigating the similar circumstance, emphasizing that recovery is really possible as long as
yes,
you
it
have
is.
the right support, the understanding, and as well as a gentle guidance, towards getting it from the right resource. And wow, this book of yours, I must say, Dr.
But
Mina, is really something that they have to grab on. You know, this
it's
is
very
very
helpful.
important that your book is really advocating for a specific cause and agenda. Now, also, going back to during that time that that
Mhm.
you lost your partner, do you talk about the funeral and what to do? Because that seems like one of the hardest parts, seeing people, giving gifts, flowers. Do you send thank you notes to everyone who helped? Like, can you tell us more
It,
about that?
the paperwork is unbelievable. You do send thank you notes to all of those people, and you need your friends to help you do it. My my friend said to me, Myrna, I'll make a list and I'll put a name on the bottom of each dish that people brought food, and then they can be returned to the church kitchen, and the people can pick their dish up later. And I said, oh, thank you, because you've got flowers. Some of them can go to a church after the funeral, but the funeral director expects you to remove all the flowers from the auditorium
Mhm.
where our if it's part of the funeral home. And I mean that's a big job just in itself to get everything back to what it was
Right.
before your mate landed, so to speak, in
Mm-hmm.
that situation. And my maid, to give you an idea, was 69 years in ministry, and his pallbearers were 45 ministers who were at the funeral.
Oh my
I asked
god.
each member that had to have any help from Grady that was there, that was a minister, to come and be part of the pallbearers. 45 people did that. I was wearing this
Mhm.
big black hat, so people couldn't get right in my face. Don't tell anybody I said that. So they couldn't get right in my face, and I'd have a little bit of privacy, and I didn't have to be concerned about whether my hair got fixed or not. So I'm there on the front row. People want me to cry. I've already cried until I am out of tears. I'm out of tears.
Mm.
Want me to cry because they're sad. about his loss. And so what you have to do is to say, we're going to miss him so bad. I know I've cried too, so many tears. It's been awful. And let him have that time of grief. But it's
Mhm.
a challenge to be there for the people as well as for yourself, because you're hurting too.
Right.
And
Mhm.
all of the gifts, and sometimes at the little there's usually a basket or something at the sign-in place.
Mhm.
If people leave a money offering, a gift to the widow or widower, they don't have to pay tax on that up to $10,000 in 1 year. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that can be a big help to someone that's having 2 or 3 children and they're trying to take care of a whole family. That can be a tremendous help.
Right.
And
Mhm.
the gifts to the ministers, the gifts to the musicians are usually in a thank you note, but then with money with it, so that they know that their time was valued. And so you have all of those, but
Mhm.
then when you get home, you have the insurance policies to notify the insurance
Mhm.
company. You have the address labels for um, projects or businesses or clients or just any of the people that are associated or were associated with your mate in their business. And you have all of those to
Mhm.
send. And you have the address labels for change of address. If you moved, you've got to send all of those out. And I took a notebook, a spiral notebook, and started at the back and wrote on the right hand page, wrote down what the company was or what it was I was looking for,
Mhm.
because I couldn't remember from one to the next how many things I was still looking for, and write down the information I find so I don't lose the information after I have found it. That went on
Yeah.
for years, because there were so many people
Wo
involved. And when I was doing
Right.
that, I was thinking, God, what is going on? Well, I called it the paper chase. It's a paper factor in the book. And on page 38, to show you I'm not only interested in the perfunctory 30, excuse me, I think it's page 38. I'll get there in a second. On
Mhm.
page
Yes,
38,
you're totally right, Dr. Myrna.
there's
Go ahead.
a list of, I think it's on 38. There it is. There's a list of the places that you need to go in your house to clean the house. Nobody's going to clean your house for you. If they threw their clothes on
Mhm.
the floor, that's where they'll stay. If you want the
Yes.
laundry to be
And
done, you do it. All of these are changes that people are
mhm.
ready for in some cases and other cases not. And this book has a suggested clean your house 4 hours a week, and you have a clean house, because it lists where to clean, what to do for each week of the month. 2 hours on Tuesday, 2 hours on Thursday, and your house is always going to stay clean because you've taken care of every need of a house. It's all in that list. And you might say, why'd you do that? Because the reality of life is life goes on. No matter what you've been through, life still goes
Mhm.
on.
Exactly. And you know what? It's actually involves notifying various institutions as well, just like what you mentioned earlier. You need to take note of everything, settling, managing any let's say the ongoing financial or legal responsibilities, Well, thank you
Yeah,
notes and funeral details are also important. The broader scope, it really involves as well the organizing and managing the critical legal financial matters to ensure a smooth transition, to
yes,
protect your future stability. And that's very important because just like what you mentioned earlier, Dr. Myrna, this is no longer um a mate journey, but right now you're walking life as an individual. So you really have
exactly,
to,
exactly.
yeah, so
I
these are the paperwork that you
as
referred. It really
as
encompasses
a
the
part
age of.
of as a part of Widower's
Mm-hmm.
Helper, there are lists of things you'll have to have. For example, when you go to
Right.
to say whether the will is to be say sent to probate or not. When you're doing that, it tells you who to look for, what you need to report, and how you can report it, and how you can avoid probate it now. If you're still
Mm-hmm.
married, you can avoid it if you have two
Mm-hmm.
names on everything that you own. Then it just goes to the other marriage partner, and you avoid probate altogether. And most people don't know that. So there were things that are in this book that you don't find anywhere else. Like, what do you do if you want to be buried? And I did, because I have two sons that are deceased. I wanted to be buried
Mm-hmm.
next to my two sons. Well, I couldn't do that because the person that had the right to give permission for that was somebody else. So I had to write the
Mm-hmm.
letters and get permission from them and from the funeral cemetery people, in order to bury my remains in that graveyard. And there, all of these things are requirements like that. So there's a list of everything you need to send or take with you when you go to Social Security. A lot of seniors have expired, and they have to go to Social Security. And when you go there, oh my goodness, when I went and they started telling me all the things I had to have, it was like, okay. But it was like, you have to have the divorce papers from another marriage. I'm just saying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce papers from another
Mm-hmm.
marriage. You have to have death certificates. You have to have the time they were dismissed from the military. It just goes on and on and on. And then Social Security, if you're issued a severance check for your deceased loved one, and it hits somewhere in the first of the month for the next month, your checking account will be drafted for that total amount. And they don't tell you they do it; they just do it because he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there
Right.
or she wasn't there.
Okay.
So there are things
Right.
like that
Thank you so much
that
for
are
that, Dr.
really,
Mirna. Right, right. Things that you really need to deal with, especially that this is also very important, right? Now, Dr. Mirna, I heard you earlier talking about, marriage. Now, can you explain to us why the Widower's Helper book describes marriage as a deep, almost blood covenant bond?
yes, I can. When you agree to marry someone, and you are then covenanted, and you have proof of your covenant. And a long time ago, they used to have what they call a marriage cloth. But when the marriage is consummated, the breaking of the hymen
Hmm.
almost always brings a small amount of blood. And that blood was to be collected on that marriage cloth to prove that they had entered
I
a
like
blood
that.
covenant. So
Wow.
marriage is
Wow, that
actually
really.
the most common blood covenant there is. And most people haven't realized
Hmm.
that. So if they're living together as friends and they've never covenanted, they don't have the kind of hurt that I had, because unless you're covenanted and you really had that person like your flesh, you don't know the pain. The pain is really severe for the people that are blood covenants.
Wow, that is so deep. It really emphasizes the profound and unbreakable connection shared between, your partner, your spouses, and at the same time, Dr. Mirna, it is really highlighting that
Yes,
the commitment goes beyond the, just papers, mere contract, or companionship to a sacred, lifelong promise rooted in love, trust, and of course, mutual devotion. Wow, that is so
yes,
powerful,
that was
Dr.
good.
Mirna.
That was good.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Dr. Mirna. And you know what? Yes, for our viewers out there, if you'd like to grab a copy of Dr. Mirna's book, that's available in Amazon.com, Barnes& and Noble, and also please do check her website. That's mercymy.com. It's MERCYMI.com. Yes, and that's the book. There we have it. Thank you so much, Dr. Mirna. Now, for everyone who wanted to have a book that would really offer you a good information, grief and challenge after losing your partner, this book would really share your journey, lessons learned in widower's helper. It is a compassionate, easy to read guide designed to help widows navigate practical tasks like like managing paperwork that was also discussed
Mhm.
earlier, and at the same time on how to adjust to life changes while offering hope and support for healing. And again, it's all about rebuilding a new life as an individual. So this is going to be the best book for you all. And again, that's available in Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, and her websites. It's mercymai.com. So again, Dr. Mina, thank you so much for gracing with us today. Thank you so much for choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey. And before we end our session, is there any message that you'd like to give out to our viewers? Yeah,
I want them
go
to
ahead,
know
Dr.
that
Mina.
I'm really happy that you tuned in today to watch this short report. But I want you to know that there is hope. There is hope. And Magnet has helped me have 3 other books that are being available to the people. This one is available now too. Miracles that soothe your soul.
Okay, there. Yeah, can you
Your
raise your book one more time just for them to see it clearly? Yeah, can you? Okay, there. Miracles that soothe your soul. Thank you, Dr. Mirna. And the other books you have?
your trip with Jesus for new baby Christians, getting a
Okay,
great
your trip
start
with Jesus. Thank you.
on right on the
Uh-huh.
journey to eternity. And then the one that's going
Mm-hmm.
to come out in it probably is going to be like October is
Wow.
Orifiendo con Gozo in Spanish, transliterated from English. In English, it's Break Forth
Mm.
into Joy. And it talks about the ways that our souls are warred against so that we have victory in our lives. And it's a very important book,
Wow.
too.
That's
And
awesome.
Reader's Magnet has
That's
been
great.
great to work with. So if you're a writer
Well,
and
thank you.
you haven't dared to write, you've got help there. Reader's
Thank you so much, Dr. Mina. We appreciate that. You're the best. Thank you, Dr. Mirna. So, yes, everyone, again, our one and only Dr. Myrna Etheridge, author of the book Widower's Helper. What do we do after our blood covenant partner is gone? And again, thank you so much, Dr. Myrna. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. All right, bye bye now. Thank you so
I know.
much. God bless you, Dr. Myrna.
God bless you, Leah.